Welcome to the Coffee and Records podcast. If you're new here, be prepared to hear valuable pieces of advice about mental health and the music industry. All of this through first-hand experiences. Today's guest is a producer, engineer, singer, songwriter, and performer. He is currently studying music production and engineering here at Berklee. He has been releasing his own music since 2021, and he's been playing gigs here around Boston. He's known here for his pop music that talk about real life experiences, relationships, feelings, and this artist is just getting started. So please welcome Zach Chang. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So I'm glad that I was thinking about this the other day. I follow a lot of people on Instagram, especially when they're in Berklee.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know the person. And you just happen to be one of those people that I kind of feel like I followed.
Yeah.
But I never actually talked to you or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So it's really cool that now you're sitting here and we get to have a conversation.
I know, power of social media.
I know, right? And so the first thing that really caught my attention when I started seeing your work and stuff is that you are everything in one. You're an artist.
Yes.
You're a producer.
Yes, I'm producer, engineer, performer, also session instrumentalist if needed.
Yeah.
I kind of like to think of myself as a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Who's a master of none, but also is able to do a variety of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So that really impressed me. And I feel like there's in the music industry, there's people that just are do it yourself musicians. You're an artist, you're a performer, you do everything. You want to get knowledge on everything. And there's people that are just more focused on one thing.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm focused on one thing. So one thing that I wanted to ask you was, what would you say are the pros and cons of being a DIY musician?
I would say the pros. So it's funny. I was actually just talking to some of my friends about this. Is that if you kind of for example, I write and produce and engineer all my own music. The benefit obviously is that I have full creative control over it,
Right.
Which is great. If I want the guitar to be lower, I can go and turn it down myself. I can manipulate the mix however I want it to sound like. And it also means that I am on my time, so I don't need to, wait and pay someone else to do it, wait for them to give me the finished product. I can just go out there and get it done myself, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
That's also the con, because I have no excuse to not get stuff done.
Right.
If I'm like, oh man, where's that mix? Oh yeah, right. I'm the mixing engineer. There's no excuse, which is also good, I guess, but it's sometimes stressful, and also you don't have as many creative hands in the work, which slows things down, but also makes it so that there aren't as many perspectives involved in the project. And so I oftentimes play my music for other people, mainly my dad, but also just
Yeah.
some friends would be like, yo, what do you think about this? And and a lot of it just comes down to having to get that kind of feedback, rather than if other people were already working on it,
Yeah.
then there would already be other perspectives to say hey, maybe this part isn't working out so much, or I didn't really understand what you meant with this lyric. You know what I mean? So I have to go.
Yeah.
I've been going to the songwriting club to get feedback on my music, because I don't really have anyone else to say, hey, this part of a song needs to be changed. So yeah, I would say that's definitely a con. And then, but I would say the biggest thing, which I already mentioned, is just the time, just having time to
Right.
do all of that stuff. Because I'm a full-time student.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm maybe releasing 2 songs a year, as opposed to churning out 10.
Talk to me more about your musical background. So you mentioned you're from California.
Yep.
How has music been, playing a role in your life since?
Yeah, so I first got into it when I started playing drums. That was my first instrument, and it was when I was about 3 or 4. So I was very young. It started with pots and pans, and my parents noticed any song they would play in the car, I would be banging like a little rhythm to it. You know what I mean? And so they were like, all right, let's get this kid a drum set. So they got me like a really small one. Lasted maybe half a year. I destroyed it very quickly because I would hit hard. You know, I was small but mighty, and so and my dad got me like a real kit, like an actual kit, when I was around 5. And I would play. I got really into Foo Fighters. I don't know if you heard of them.
I know them. Yeah.
Foo Fighters, and then like early Coldplay for whatever reason, which was an interesting combination. My dad would take me to a lot of their concerts because he was super into music, and so he would take me to a ton of concerts when I was like 4. You know what I mean? Which is not. Yeah. I'm very grateful for, because not many kids get to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what inspired me to be a performer. I was like, this is amazing. That's what I want to do. I saw Dave Grohl on the stage. I saw Taylor Hawkins on the stage, and I was like, that's what I want to be. You know?
Yeah.
And I kind of was just mainly drum performance up until then, and so like I would join bands. I mainly did this program called School of Rock. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, it's international.
It's interesting. Yeah. And so I did School of Rock for a while, and then that's what got me my initial performing experience as a young kid. And then I did that for like 4 years, and then I started forming my own bands, started writing my own music as I picked up guitar and bass. And that's kind of how I started getting into being a songwriter, and performing my own music as opposed to just being a drummer. Which is great, but obviously I started developing passions for other things in music, rather than just being a performer.
Wow. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration in life? Oh, it could be a person, or it could be something.
I mean, the answer right off the top of my head is my dad, because he was the one who took me to all those concerts, showed me all that cool music. He played a little bit guitar and piano. And so he wasn't a musician like professionally. He's a psychiatrist, but he did it by hobby. And we would jam together. We'd play like, again, Foo Fighters songs, and I'll be playing drums. He'd be like playing guitar and singing, trying to sing. And he wasn't an amazing singer, but it worked. It was cute, and I definitely owe him a lot for where I am today. And I also don't want to ignore my mom as well, because she had a great music taste and put me on to a lot of bands as well, and definitely had an influence. But I think early on, it's definitely, if I had to pick one person, it would be my dad for my my initial musical inspiration.
And when did like the thought of like producing like started to?
That was also, I have to credit that to my dad as well. I remember listening to one Foo Fighters record. It was one of the newer ones, Wasting Light, when I was around 10. And my dad was talking about the production, and it never really struck, like, I never thought about production because I was always a performer. But the concept of a record, that's when I first got like, oh, this is like a recording of a performance that they're manipulating afterwards, and that itself is an art. The post-production, and also just like how they recorded it. My dad was talking about how it was the first record they did that was entirely on analog tape. They didn't use any digital technology for the record, which I thought which I now realize is amazing. And that really inspired me to also be a producer and an engineer as well. I'm now in the MP&E program at Berklee, which is and that's a big reason why. So that's kind of how I got into production. Obviously, like a little Charlie Puth.
Totally.
I have to give some credit to Charlie Puth because he makes he makes producing music seem really fun, and that's part of what kind of drew me into it.
Oh yeah, and so like you have a few songs released already in Spotify, and like you have a presence in social media, you have a presence in YouTube and stuff. So building that, as an artist, as a producer, as a performer, what has been like the biggest challenge you faced, and how would you say did you overcome it?
I faced a variety of stuff. I mean, I feel like being any kind of musician these days is extremely difficult, and it's always been very difficult for artists like us. I would say this day and age, it's getting my music heard. Because there's so much being poured out there, and I'm sure you've heard this a bazillion times, but like there are so many songs being released on Spotify every single day, and just trying to get streams and trying to get people to really listen. Even at Berklee, it's like there are so many students and so many people who put out their own stuff, which is amazing, right? Yeah. But it's hard to I mean, like obviously, like attention is such a valuable thing now.
Yeah.
And just trying to get people to like click on the link that you put in your story is a challenge. And but you want to be heard, you want to be seen. And, you know, I think figuring out how to do that without selling my soul and not feeling genuine to myself is a big challenge. And not feeling like I'm just constantly putting out ads, because that's not me, you know what I mean? Like I like music business is, don't get me wrong, like you're involved in it. It's an amazing field. That's never me, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I can't do that type of stuff, but I have to, you know what I mean?
Right.
As an independent artist, and there's no, you know, there's no, oh, I don't want to post on social media. It's like a few artists maybe they've gotten away with that, but in general, like, that's so hard to do without social media. You need to do socials, and I think it took me a while to realize that, how our new music industry works. I'm sounding really old right now, and it was, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out how to effectively market myself in a way that is genuine to me,
right?
But also is effective in something that other people will latch on to, and something that will grab their attention.
And now I'm curious, do you have like a management team or something, or just you?
No, I've tried to apply for some at Berklee. I've looked for managers, you know, I have someone who's helping me right now with some graphics and stuff like that. But other than that, it's pretty much just all me, and it's been all me. And I've always wondered, like, do I need someone like that right now, or is it better for me to just do everything myself at the moment? And to be honest, the answer is I don't know.
Right.
But for now it's entirely just me.
Yeah. That could be like a lot of weight in your shoulders.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So what do you like most? Producing, performing, or writing songs? That's a hard question.
It's hard to give a really black and white answer, but if I had to pick one, it would be performing.
Performing,
because
why?
I have done that. I mean, that was, again, it goes all the way back to those concerts I used to go to when I was a kid.
I see.
You know what I mean? And that's something that's deeply rooted in me, is that desire to perform and be on stage. You know, I'm sure most musicians can resonate with the idea of going to a concert and feeling you're on the bench. You know what I mean? Like you're just a spectator, and you're like, I want to be, like, you want to go up there and join. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to go to shows, and sometimes I don't go to shows for that reason, which isn't right. But I'm just like, I get antsy when I'm in the audience, and I'm like, I need to be on stage right now. Yeah, and so
yeah, totally.
I would have to say performing, but I love all of it, and I do all of it, and I mean, sometimes I go, through little phases. Sometimes I'm really working on the production of my songs. Sometimes I write like 3 songs in a week, or I write 0 songs in 3 weeks. So. Yeah, it's a mix of things, and I enjoy doing it all, which is why I do it all.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about performing? Like, is there a specific thing that you're like, or it's just a feeling?
I mean, it's mainly a feeling. I really like, when I was a kid, I would, again, I'm talking about my childhood a lot here, but I would go up on stage. I remember it was like this hotel in Hawaii I was staying at, and for whatever reason there was a stage there, and in between performers and in between acts, like, I would just go up there and start stomping my feet, clapping my hands, and singing a song in front of the audience. And no one would stop me, because I'm just a little kid. Everyone's like, oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't do that now, because people would be like, dude, who the hell is this guy? Get
what
off
are
the
you
stage.
doing?
But like, obviously I got away with it then, and people liked it, and I remember seeing people smiling at me in the audience, and just feeling like I was being heard. It was my moment of attention, and people were, seeing what I'm capable of, listening to my story, and I was kind of sharing. Yeah, I just like the idea of sharing something with a group of people like that. I mean, I'm still like that now. I still like being able to share something in an intimate setting, and when I say intimate setting, it could be like a big venue, and it still feels like an intimate setting, because no one else is doing. You're not like, these days, with cell phones and everything, it's like, who knows, maybe someone's on TikTok, but for the most part, everyone's, you're all paying attention to the same thing, and it's just a really, it's just a moment to cherish, because it also makes me nervous, which is part of why I like it.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I kind of like the adrenaline a little bit. I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, but you know, it's just, I don't know, it's that feeling, that fire that you know really ignites you when you're on stage, and there's just nothing quite like it.
And what is like the impact that you want to make with your music?
That's a good question. Again, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out. But broadly speaking, I want to have a fan base regardless of the size. The size doesn't really matter. It's more about, like, if I am working on something, I want to feel like every detail that I'm putting in the song will be heard and recognized, and every lyric will be like something that I know someone will want to like catch on and to be like, okay, let's see what he created this time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have like really attentive fans. Like that would be just that's my goal. And they're like that because they really feel like my music speaks to them, and they can really connect with it. It's like you know, their therapy, animal therapy, like toy. I don't know, it's just like something that they listen to when they're distressed, or they want just someone to relate to, and I want to be able to provide that for, you know, as many people as possible. And yeah, I think again, that's something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid as well. Is you know, I think when that goes back to why I like performing so much, is when I'm on stage, I feel like I can see the people's faces when I'm saying something that really connects with them, and they're nodding their head and they're just like, yeah, like I feel that. And for me, that's like the most important form of like social connection, is bonding over that art. And yeah, again, you can't replace it with anything else. So.
It's interesting because you're not talking to that person, but it's like you're connecting.
But you may as well be, and it's better than a conversation. I feel like our mutual friend Ollie, you know, when I go to his shows, I feel like I know more about him than I ever could from a conversation. And I know more about his story because he paints his story so well with his live performances and with his lyrics. You know what I mean? And you know, I know he's one of my peers, but like in some ways, I very much aspire to have that level of impact through my shows and through my lyrics. Is I think Ollie does a really great job of that.
And performing. You performed in a lot of places. Is there like specific place you dream to perform in?
TD Garden. No. Let me think. I've really wanted to. I mean, there are always like wacky places that, like, sometimes I see people perform, like creative settings. But that's a good question. Let me think about that. I think like a rooftop. But like on a really tall building would be super cool, because I'm like a little afraid of heights, but just like the perfect amount of afraid for it to be fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then maybe like you know those like you know those like underwater hotels. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, totally random, but I would love to perform in like some like bizarre setting like that.
Underwater hotels.
Yeah.
Where?
There's just like I don't really know how to explain them. I've just seen them on Instagram, and sometimes I see like musicians performing in those kinds of settings.
Because I've seen
and it's just a really cool ambiance. Like
I've seen like places where they have like an aquarium, and they have like little things like like I don't know, like restaurants, but there's an aquarium, so you see like the fishes.
It's that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
Not actually like. You're not actually submerged in water.
You're not actually in the sea.
That would be a hazard. But
no, but that's actually so cool. Imagine.
Yeah, totally random. But yeah. I don't. That's my best answer for that.
Do you have a specific band that you perform with every time?
Yes and no. I mean, so throughout my time at Berklee, I've kind of performed with generally the same people, but like occasionally, you know, maybe guitarist moves or graduates, and then you have to find a new person, or like someone's like, oh, I'm just really busy this semester, so you're like, all right, I found a new keyboardist or whatever. But generally speaking, I try to stick with the same people, just to form like a closer bond between the people I'm playing with, and then also just because then they know the songs already. You don't have to like have people learn all the songs again. But when I perform, it's just my name. You know what I mean? Which is something that I've been thinking about, which is like, do I want to just keep it like, you know how like when solo artists perform, it's just like their name and they perform with a band.
Right.
Or do I want to actually kind of be part of a band? Like, obviously, like, I think a good example is Ale Gil and the Lads, right? They're a band. Ale Gil is like a solo artist himself, but they're like Lads. A band.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And he's been performing with the same people the entire time.
Yeah.
And that's cool. You know, that's amazing. And, but I, like, A, that's hard to get. And B, I don't know if that's like the right vision for me personally. Yeah. And so for now, I'm just sticking with, you know, whoever basically wants to play or whoever I think will fit well in a band with me, like I'm just gonna be performing with them.
Do you have like an interesting, crazy performance story? Something that happened to you?
I have a couple. One was like a positive experience and one was a negative experience.
Ooh, okay.
Which one do you want to hear first?
The negative experience.
All right, so the negative experience was so obviously during the pandemic I took a break from performing. Everyone did,
right? Yeah.
And so I was that's actually when I kind of became like a solo artist and a singer-songwriter, because I didn't have a band to write with anymore, so I just did everything myself and started producing everything myself.
A lot of like lives and filming yourself.
Yeah. Dark times. But this was like maybe a year after the pandemic, and I still was getting accustomed to performing in front of a crowd again. And I did this open mic at this university that I went to before going to Berklee. And I was performing a song that was very difficult for me to play, namely Neon by John Mayer. And for whatever reason, I was like, yes, I need to play the most challenging song. And I, went up there as just an open mic. So I was just playing one song. For whatever reason, when I went up there, I was extremely nervous.
Right.
And I never really had stage fright before, because I've been performing my whole life, and I felt like I was a natural at it. But this was the first time where I was like, wait, I'm actually really nervous. And so I went up there and my hand was shaking. I could feel it was hard for me to sing, because that's the first thing that goes sometimes, is because you need to breathe. Yeah. Right. And when you're anxious, sometimes that's something you forget to do.
Yeah.
Right. So it just that part totally crumbles. And, the hand precision in that song is so crucial. And I totally bombed. Like, it was just a bad performance. I looked at the footage afterwards. I was like, this is awful. Obviously, some people were like, they didn't know the song, or just like, they didn't have any expectations. So like, oh, it was cool. Like, I like what you did. You know what I mean? But I was very disappointed in myself with that performance. Okay. And so from then on, I made it part of my routine to perform that song at the end of every single one of my sets, because I realized that I then had a negative connotation with that song, and I wanted to get rid of that, and I wanted to try and overcome the challenge of starting that song, it's in drop C, tune my string down, and trying to take a deep breath, relax myself during that moment, and just focus on playing the song and not think about the crowd, and not try not to worry about it, be like, it's just a song, and that's kind of how I overcame my post-pandemic stage fright, as I like to call it. And I just played it at every single show, and people got so sick of it, but it was productive to me, because I felt like it also overcame all my other stage fright that was there for me in the moment. And so in retrospect, I'm glad I did it. I'm taking a break from the song because people were tired of hearing it. But
every show.
Yeah. And so the positive experience was when I was 10, I played at Summerfest. It's like they call themselves the largest music festival in the world. It's in Milwaukee, in the US. And I played there when I was 10, I was ridiculously young to play there. It was an opportunity I got through School of Rock, through being in their house band.
That's cool.
I was the youngest member of the band by far, and I was also just the youngest member there. There were a bunch of other School of Rock house bands that were there. Yeah. And I was like, why is everyone like 5 years older than I am? You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is a lot when you're 10. And we were performing on like the biggest stages you can imagine, right? Yeah. And so, and you can imagine I was pretty nervous, but also very excited. Yeah. And my family flew out to come see me play, and it was just one of the most spectacular performances I've ever been a part of. There? I was playing drums at the time, but I actually did sing. Nice. I played let me think. We did a Foo Fighters song. We did Pretender by Foo Fighters, and I sang and drummed on it as a 10-year-old.
Oh my
and
God.
people were obsessed with that because it was like I don't know why I don't have any videos of this
And
anymore.
that's
They're
always,
probably
like,
somewhere in the archives,
Yeah.
but this is like again, this is before social media is super big.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was posting reels of this, you know? Like,
Right, yeah.
But it's probably just on my family's hard drive somewhere, and it's I don't know. It's something that, yeah. Again, I'm kind of glad I don't have much footage of it because the memory of it is just so beautiful.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. And that song is like
thank you.
Foo Fighters. They have like fast songs, anyways.
Well, that's the style of drummer
imagine.
I was primed to be a rock drummer. So,
Yeah. So tell us more about like your music videos. So I know you have music videos on YouTube, and for many artists it's like, you know, hard to like do music videos because sometimes it's just like, okay, you have a friend that film them for you, and you have like kind of like you can get away with it without actually having a budget. But yeah, so how was your experience with music videos?
Okay, so I mean, when I was again younger, I would always make music videos with my friends with my band for fun. We use like Video
Yeah.
Star. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. A lot of people
I
around
think I never
here,
used it.
they it's been a part of their childhood. It was just a very easy to use like tool for kids to make fun videos. But we actually did a pretty good job of making ours, and hopefully they're not out there anymore. But and so I've had experience doing them, but I've always loved them. I always love music videos because I always love movies.
Yeah.
I've been a big cinephile and also music, obviously, and putting those two things together is something that I've always been very passionate about. So my first week here at Berklee, I did a music video for my song Graded. And funny enough, I was like, I need a videographer. I didn't know anyone here at the time, so I had my roommate put on, for some reason, because I didn't have access to it, I don't remember why, he put on his Snapchat story, like, hey, looking for a videographer, like basically like DM if you're interested in, like, you know, payment involved. And some guy named Tom responded, crazy enough, and the next day I was meeting with him, talking about the video, and I was like, this is what we want to do. It was like the first few like glory days, like right before classes started and everything turned to shit. It was like those days. Yeah, it was like that, and it was like the perfect timing. And we filmed it at Harvard because the song is called Graded. You know, it's kind of about academics in a way, and so I thought Harvard was a cool setting. It was my first time really at Harvard, and so we were all super excited to go there, and we just filmed around campus. And I was like wearing a hoodie. It was like 85 degrees out, and we were all dying, but it was fun. And then we came back. We did a couple more days of shooting, and we invited pretty much everyone we had met in the first week to be in the ending of the video.
Oh, nice.
And it was like we cut out. I actually I bought like gift wrapping paper or whatever, and manually cut it out to make confetti, which took me forever because I couldn't buy confetti for whatever reason. And at the end, there's like a slow-mo clip of us like all throwing the confetti in the air. Because it's like a little dorm party at the end. And then we spent like half an hour cleaning it all up. And weeks later, people were like finding confetti in their shoes and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
But it's a memory I will always cherish. Just because it was like the first thing I did at Berklee. And yeah, you can find it on YouTube. Graded Zach CO. Yeah, it was a fun video. And then I did a couple more with that guy, and then I did one at home recently because it's about California. It's a song about California. So I was like, I need to do this at home. I had only 1 week to do it. So I found this videographer from the other Berklee, California.
Oh, yeah.
His name's Jacob Winkleman, and he did an incredible job. He's now in New York. If you ever need a videographer, hit up Jacob Winkleman, because he did an amazing job. And he had never done a music video before.
Oh.
Yeah. And we did like, 3-4 days of shooting. And we had to commute a lot. It was like hours and hours and hours of driving because he lived on the other side of the bay. And we had to film on like the opposite side of the bay on like the beach and stuff like that. But it was all worth it. And yeah. And to address more of your question directly, like it is difficult to make these videos just because I don't receive a budget for it. I have to pay the videographers out of my own pocket. It's never like a ton of money because like they're getting experience out of it too, but it is money, you know. And I like paying my like people to do things like this because then obviously they're a little more motivated. But it's also like you don't want them to just feel like a work for hire. You also want to involve them in the creative process of it.
Right.
Also because I want them to be involved in the creative process of it. I don't want it to just be my vision because I want a second person to kind of check sanity check what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And be like, is this feasible? You know. But yeah, I mean, and every time we do it, it's like something new for them as well. So the first time we did it, it was our videographer had to back up while I was lip syncing and walking toward him for pretty much the whole video. And then the second video, we did running. So I was running at him and he had to run backwards. And I was lip syncing to a sped up version of the song.
Yeah.
Down by the Charles River.
Oh.
And so there were like people out there too. It was super embarrassing. And they had I had a couple of my friends hold the speaker so I could hear the music. And then it was basically so that the end result would be me running in slow motion and lip syncing at the same speed of the song.
Oh.
Right.
Oh. Yeah. It's hard.
And so he had to backpedal. And in the behind the scenes and stuff, you can hear people shouting like, "Watch out for the tree. There's a hole there. Watch out," because he's backpedaling. He can't see where he's going.
Oh.
And so they'd be like, "Tree. Move, watch out." Like it's hilarious. And so that was the new challenge. And then the next challenge for my most recent video was filming volleyball and also filming driving. So trying to figure out how to stick the camera in the car. We even put the camera on top of the car and had me poke my head out the sunroof.
Yeah.
And things like that. So that was like the next challenge. So every single time I'm leveling up, thinking of doing like skydiving or something next.
Oh my God.
No, I'm kidding. We'll go in small increments. So maybe I'm on a boat or like I'm swimming or something. We did do water stuff in the most recent videos. So I don't know. We'll figure out how to step it up for the next one.
And also, like you mentioned that you involved him in the creative process, but like, how did you come up with the idea? Was it that you had like an initial idea, or it was just more natural?
It was like The Scientist by Coldplay was my inspiration. I looked at the video and he was walking. He was walking and lip syncing, but like it was all backwards. But his lip syncing was forwards. But he basically memorized I think this is the lore. He memorized the song and sang it backwards.
Oh.
And walked forward. And then when they reversed it, he was walking backwards and lip syncing forward.
That's so hard.
But I was like, I'm not going to do all that, but this is cool because he's lip syncing at the right speed, but he's walking in slow motion. What if I was running in slow motion, but lip syncing at the right speed? So that was our inspiration for that. But some of the other ones I just kind of had ideas for a while, maybe, in the shower or like waking up at 3 a.m. and being like, oh, what if we did this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I'm impressed. Like how like simple we see these music videos and we're like, oh, okay. But it's actually
there's a lot
really
of work
hard.
put into them.
It's really hard.
You always have to go beyond the budget, beyond what's worth it, beyond what you're being paid for.
Yeah.
But it ends up, but that's part of the fun. You have to enjoy it in order to really have that great finished product.
Totally. What would you say like is your favorite part of like your creative process when it comes to songwriting and just kind of like putting your songs out there? What is your favorite part?
My favorite part is when I come up with the hook. No, it's like when I'm in my bedroom and it's late at night and I'm like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did this? And then I come up with something that I'm like, oh, that's good. I don't know how I came up with that, but let me quickly film that and be like, and then I go like take a shower. I try to go sleep, and the song is still in my head. That's my favorite part because then that's when I know when I've come up with something at least decent, and it's also just an exciting revelation to come up with something like that. It's an exciting moment, and that's actually my favorite part about it.
Nice. What's your favorite like activity to do?
Definitely play volleyball.
Really?
I play competitive volleyball. I've been playing competitive volleyball for a while. Recently, Berklee doesn't have a team, so I'm currently teamless right now. But I'm finding different ways. Like I play with the Emerson D3 team.
Oh.
They're like an NCAA team, but I've been just kind of walking in and playing in their open gyms for fun. And then I also kind of started a Berklee one. I started a Berklee, like a informal Berklee like intramural team.
Oh, nice.
That I'm doing right now. We have like a big group chat of like 30 people, and we set up grass volleyball on the weekends. And we're actually scrimmaging against Emerson next Sunday.
Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Which is really exciting. And
Yeah.
so volleyball is a big, like, half of my Instagram stories are music. The other half is like volleyball, because I just love it so much. And even though I'm not on a team, like it has to be part of my life. It's what I've come to realize. It needs to be there, for the sake of my mental health. And
Right.
and it's also just a great outlet from music. I remember my first year at Berklee. I still had some ties to Tufts, which was the school I used to go to, and I was on the volleyball team there. And so on Thursday nights or whatever, I would go commute out there to play volleyball, and it got me out of the Berklee bubble. And it helped me maintain my sanity during my freshman year, living in the dorms and stuff. Just getting out there, exercising, meeting different people, and doing something that's collaborative and social, and then just coming back feeling refreshed. It was amazing. An amazing outlet to have. And I encourage every Berklee student to have an outlet like that.
Yeah.
To at least try and find one. And because there's always something that you can find. And I think it's so crucial to being successful in everything else you do at the school.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because you feel refreshed and you just need an outlet. You just need an outlet. So volleyball is a big thing. Tea is another thing. I know this is the Coffee and Records podcast.
But we're drinking tea, peach.
We are drinking tea. For now, it's the Tea and Records podcast.
Yeah. No, but talk to me more about that tea. Because you mentioned to me that you have tea ceremonies.
Yes.
And so, yeah, like tell me how those tea ceremonies work, what are their purpose, and how did you come up with that?
Yeah. So I can't credit myself the idea entirely, because I went to this place in LA actually called Tea at Shallow, and you go in there and it's like basically an alternative for like drinking and going out and stuff like that. You can instead go to this cozy, intimate place, drink tea, and still meet people, and kind of have a more relaxing social environment that is more not like, there's no music blasting in your ear, and you're like, what's your name, I mean, but there is live music, and it's beautiful, and it's always very, it's more relaxing, they're not playing like EDM, they're like playing like classical piano music or whatever, and you're just there drinking tea, and the lighting is amazing, and the vibes are amazing, everyone's super chill. And I was like, what if I did something like this, it's just something small. And so in my apartment, I'll dim the lights, get some cool lights set up, move my table, and get all my teas out. I have a big tea collection, because I'm obsessed with tea, and that's a whole nother story.
I love tea too.
Yeah. Should be the Tea and Records podcast,
honestly.
And and then so what happens at the tea ceremony basically is, and I'm still figuring it out, and I'm still trying different things, but the last one, for example, I just had a bunch of people over, and I had a menu of tea, the teas that I had, and I basically would put the I would make each one in a random order, and people had to guess as they drank them which one it was, and it kind of turned into a game. So it was kind of like a tasting. So I have a bunch of different I have a lot of teaware, and I have all these small cups laid out, and I'm like making the tea and pouring the tea, and I'm like, okay guys, tea's ready. They all drink it, and they're like, all talk about the taste, and they're like, all right, and I'm like, what is it? And people start arguing over what tea it is, and they get really into it, and then so I don't know if it's gonna work next time, because I've already tried that, and so people probably already know, but I don't know, but I might do it again, who knows. But and sometimes I just have people over, and I'm like, this is what the tea is, and enjoy it, and it's cool, because it does have a bit of caffeine in it, but it also has, tea is different from coffee in that it has a lot of L-theanine in it, which is kind of a relaxing and kind of combats the caffeine, so it actually slows the absorption of the caffeine, so you're not all jittery like this. It's more of a relaxing, calm, alert focus. And and I noticed that from tea ceremonies, because people tend to get really calm. It's also the setting, you know what I mean? And but the caffeine's there to like spark the conversation, and I find that people are just it gets rid of all the small talk. People go straight to just opening up and talking about the things that have been bugging them for the past weeks, and it just creates so much more of an intimate environment where people aren't afraid to be vulnerable in that environment, which I think is amazing. And that's not something I've really found here. Like, I mean, you go to the caf, and like people, there's still like a shield you know, in between you and them, and or like you're doing a session, there's still a shield of like how you're supposed to act, what to say and what not to say, and the tea ceremonies totally break through that shield, and you know, you get to hear people's real opinions, and it's nothing negative. It's just it's an environment where you can have real conversation and really get to know people. And I think having something here at Berklee like that is amazing. If I had more time, I would make it more of a thing, but for now I'm just going like once a month. I'll invite my close friends over for tea. But yeah, it's been really amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful. It's something I feel like I would enjoy a lot.
Yeah, I'll invite you to the next one.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be sure to.
But yeah, no, because I really love tea, especially like after going to China and like seeing all those teas, and then I was telling to my mom, like, I was like, Mom, can I like bring those teas with me? Because it's really good, and I feel like, as you say, like, I didn't know about the caffeine thing. I always buy, like, for example, that one is like not caffeinated because I'm like, no, I don't want to. But it's interesting that it makes you alert, but it doesn't make you like.
Yeah, which is why I always recommend tea to people over coffee heavily. Just there are so many more health benefits, and teas. Coffee can be healthy in some ways. Yeah, but especially as like a lot of us we're vocalists, right? And coffee is a lot more acidic. I 100% recommend tea to like any vocalists here. It's just that much better.
So much better. Have you ever incorporated that with your like songwriting collabs or something?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've yet to do more of that, and that's something that I want to do more. But yeah, if I'm like inviting someone over for like a songwriting session or something, I'll always offer them tea. Yeah, just kind of open things up, and also because like if we're singing and we're talking a lot to each other, it's good to be hydrated. You know what I mean? But yeah, that, and I find that it's been a pre-show routine for me because it gets me hydrated, gets me calm and focused. And it could be herbal or a caffeinated tea. Yeah. And yeah, so that's kind of been my routine, and also just like warm water for the throat is like a good thing to do. So it's just like the perfect thing for me to do before a show. Yeah, and I'm sure other people have similar routines, but definitely don't drink coffee before a show.
I also heard it was not good.
Make you more nervous and have acid reflux the entire time. So yeah,
that's true. What is your favorite like TV show?
Oh, that's a random one. I actually don't watch that much TV, but I would say, let me think. I was really into Game of Thrones for a while because it felt very real. There was no like black and white. These are the bad guys. These are the good guys. Even though I don't like to deal with all like the pretentious politics that the show features, it was really cool to see how like the characters evolved and how you're not fully rooting for anyone. You're just like you're kind of rooting for everyone, but also no one at the same time, which is interesting. And I feel like it's a very realistic portrayal of, you know, medieval politics or whatever. But yeah, it's also cool because they're like dragons flying around and stuff. But yeah,
I never watched it.
You should definitely get on it. So Game of Thrones was a cool one. And then let's see what else. I like anything Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. So any Star Wars shows. Some of the Disney ones are like hit or miss, but I've been a big Star Wars nerd for a while. I got some lightsabers back in my room. Yeah, you know, like.
That's cool. What's your favorite original song?
Of mine?
Yeah.
It's got to be this new one called Enough for Me. It's not out yet, but I'm working on it. Yeah, no, it's a cool song. It entertains the music nerd in me because it's like it's 5/4 and then goes into 6/8, which is fun.
Interesting.
And it kind of I've never done a song that transitions from 5/4 to 6/8, but totally just like it has this really smooth like natural feeling transition, but it also creates a variety in the song. It's just I don't know, I'm really loving it right now. It's I'm gonna get sick of it soon, but I was also gonna say Blue, the song that I most recently released, because you know I'm in that phase, you know, and it's a very special song because like I can make it like I can promote it as like this really cool like upbeat pop song, you know, this summer song that you should add to your playlist or whatever. And then it's also like this very kind of sad and intimate, like I can turn it into an acoustic ballad if I want to. It can work in multiple functions, and so that's kind of why I really like it, and I'm happy that it's a song that I can call mine.
That's nice. That's nice. And what's your favorite lyric?
That I've written.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Right now, it's this new song that I wrote called "Let Me Down," and let me think how it goes. It seems to be the start of a feel good book, but when I'm in the pages past the hook, I'll know I've found another deceiving cover.
Oh.
And it's kind of about meeting people or maybe like going on dates.
Mm-hmm.
Or having a situationship that seems like it's going really good, or even a friendship that seems like it's going great, and then once you kind of see past their artificial cover or whatever, like you start to see their flaws, but you also start to see why things might not work out, or why you feel like you've been deceived. I don't know if you've ever been in a situationship, but it kind of feels like you've been tricked to like fall in love with this person that didn't actually end up really being who you thought they were.
Yeah.
Or it didn't turn into this optimistic thing that you thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it seems to be the start of a feel-good book, but you know, when you're in the pages past the hook, which is just like the initial stuff, you realize that you found another deceiving cover. Like you see, and you know, people say don't judge a book by its cover. That's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah.
Is and the song, and that seems very negative. You know what I mean? But the song ends with like, you know, a twist. It's not all sad. You know, there's an alternate perspective on that. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm entirely shut off to meeting new people, and I don't think everyone's fake. You know, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's just part of the story.
But it's very relatable. I feel like we've all been in that situation where, like, you think someone is a certain way, and then you're like, oh no, this person is not who I thought they were, and that's fine. Yeah. No, that's really interesting. And you mentioned a lot of you know, getting outside the Berklee bubble, and that really got me thinking, you know, that it's very overwhelming sometimes to be here, and there's a lot of stuff happening. So I was gonna ask you, like, how do you like maintain like a routine that, like, okay, you mentioned getting out and like having volleyball and stuff, but then how do you like kind of like maintain a routine that is gonna make you feel sane within here? Especially with like, I know you're MPD studio, so you probably have like recording studios in the middle of the night. Is that a thing?
I've actually managed to avoid that as much as I can, but occasionally I do have sessions at uncomfortable times. It's not as bad as people make it to be. And when you're doing it, when you're actually in it, it's fine. You know, I see. It's just the next day that's not fine.
The next day.
But yeah, so I mean, it's not so much of a routine as it is kind of a lifestyle I've tried to figure out. And although I think this is the busiest semester of my life, and I have so many different obligations, so many different things that I want to do. I mean, this is my last year at Berklee. I'm just trying to make the most of it. And they're like, oh, I haven't done this. You know, it's easy to get caught up in that. But I think you need to remember to live a balanced lifestyle. And living a balanced lifestyle, when I say that, I don't just mean doing less or doing less obligations. I actually mean sometimes it means do more. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're getting a variety of things, but not overwhelming yourself where like you can't fit all of them in it. But for me, it's like my philosophy has always been like a little bit of everything is like a healthy amount.
Yeah.
Don't kill yourself really just doing one thing or fixating over one thing. Look at the big picture. And like, I don't know, like for example, like today, like, yeah, I had to like sift through my homework and start my essay that's due tomorrow at midnight. But you know, I also, you know, made time for this and having this conversation. And after this, I'm gonna go, you know, collaborate on a song with someone, and then I'm actually gonna play volleyball tonight. And so a lot of that is just like making sure I have my outlets, but also budgeting my time for like a variety of different things to keep myself healthy, keep myself sane, and not, you know, if someone's like, if you're doing too much and someone's like, hey, I need your help on this session, you can decline. You know what I mean? But also like open yourself up to different things. And I find that if I get a variety of things and I'm not totally overwhelmed in my schedule, I like to keep myself pretty busy throughout the day, you know, like one thing after another, because that for me is healthy. Yeah. Because I hate getting bored. But some people like that might overwhelm them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're normal. But but like still, even it's like you don't have to do a ton of stuff, but I always say get a variety. It's just like a diet. You know what I mean? I think your lifestyle should also just be your diet and you should get a variety of things. Like it's not like donuts are bad for you. It's like eating too many donuts are bad for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And getting a little bit of everything, I think, is just the best to be most successful. People say like if you really want to be successful at one thing, you just got to really focus on that thing and just do that one thing. You know what I mean? I don't really agree with that. I don't really agree with that sentiment, and I do think it's important to dedicate a lot of time to it, but I don't think like there's a direct correlation between the amount of hours spent on that one thing and your success in that thing. I think it tails off at a certain point. You know what I mean? You can't just like spam it and work super hard. You also have to work smart, obviously. And I feel like what I'm saying is like people already know. It's like it may sound a little cliche, but it's very, very true, especially to me. And so for me personally, it's like getting a little bit everything in my life diet. You know?
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece of advice.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for being here and agreeing to do this.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like I don't know anything about you. So like I don't know. I feel like you know everything about me now, but
yeah, now I know a lot about you.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like an episode where like you're the person being interviewed.
And
then
totally. Thank you though.
No, thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.